The year is 2424. The world as we know it has come to an end many times over. Society has crumbled into a primitive tribal state. Civilization's only legacy is its trash, which now blankets the landscape. In this desolate yet strangely beautiful world, the remnants of humanity struggle to survive. Among them are the hill people, who live out their days scavenging the ruins of the old world, picking through the bones of what were once gods. For the hill people, the world begins and ends with the hills. Beyond them lies only danger and death. Since time immemorial, the hill people have followed 3 laws. Never travel east, never cross the Great River, never enter the place of the gods, the ruins of New York City. These laws were as immutable as the hills themselves. But one man dared to question them. His name was John, son of the hill people's priest. He knew the rituals, the chants, the secrets of healing, the ways of the shamans, and the laws of his tribe. But even as he dutifully repeated the ancient words, even as he assisted at the sacred ceremonies, a restless hunger burned within him. What did the laws mean? Why were the shamans forbidden to enter the dead places? Why did the priestess never speak of the past? Why did the hill people live in ignorance when the answers lay all around them? And most important, why did the hill people live in fear when nothing stirred in the shadows of the dead places? Nothing but the wind and the ghosts? John's chance came when he was very young. Every day after the morning ritual, John accompanied his father into the dead places. Among the ruins, the two searched for metal, which the hill people believed could heal any wound and grant any wish. One day, John found a piece of twisted metal, a car's bumper, and touched it. He should have died instantly, but he didn't. Instead, he lived. It was the first sign. He would one day be a priest. Years passed. John learned the ancient books and letters, hungering for the truths of the old days. But the more he learned, the more questions burned within him. Then one day, while combing through the ruins, John found a book that spoke of the place of the gods, where the gods once lived. That night, after a vision, John knew what he had to do. He went to the shaman and told her of his dream. She fasted for 8 days, prayed to the gods, then gave him the bow, 3 arrows, and her blessing. John journeyed east, deeper into forbidden territory. Along the way, he was tested by hunger, by wild beasts, and by signs both sacred and dangerous. But he pressed on. On the 8th day, he reached the great river. It was wide, ancient, and unknowable. And beyond it lay the ruins of a city, still mighty in death. Though afraid, John built a raft and crossed the waters, singing his death song. I am John, son of John. I go to the place of the gods. I shall not return, but my heart is big. When he reached the other side, he wandered the shattered streets of the old city. There were towers of stone and steel, cracked roads, strange artifacts, and a silence that echoed across time. The gods were long gone. No demons shrieked, no spirits wailed. Only pigeons, wild dogs, and wind remained. He climbed into one of the towers, what had once been a home. There he saw pictures, soft chairs, glass lamps, and books in lost tongues. He touched their magic, but it had faded. That night, he slept in a room filled with ghosts. As John lay asleep, his spirit was pulled from his body, and he saw. He saw the city as it had once been, lit with thousands of lights. Filled with chariots that roared like rivers, gods in motion day and night. He saw their greatness, their inventions, their wisdom, and their downfall. Fire fell from the sky. Poison spread through the air. Towers collapsed. The gods died like men because they were men. In the morning, John awoke in the tower. Shaking, he went to the window and looked out over the silent city. There, sitting by the window, gazing out over the ruined city, was a man, or what remained of one. Dressed in strange clothing, his face dry and still, he sat as though he had been carved from stone. John descended the tower and approached the body, examined the clothing, the face, and finally the hands, which were folded as though in prayer. They were not gods. They were men. Great men. Terrible men. And they died like men. John returned home, purified and changed forever. His father listened to his tale and did not strike him, saw that the law changes shape across generations. John would be priest and, perhaps more. Truth is a hard deer to hunt, his father said. If you eat too much truth at once, you may die of the truth. And so John learned, truth must come slowly, but it must come. The old world had fallen not by the hand of gods, but through its own power and pride. Their city, New York, was no heaven, but a caution. Now John looks to the future. Someday, he says, they will return to the city not as looters, but as students, not alone, but as a people, who will learn from the past, not worship it. And when he becomes chief priest, they will go to the place of the gods and begin again. They were men. We must build again.